In this problem, we are asked to find the horizontal and vertical intercept. So before we do that, let's make sure we understand what that means. So the first one is finding the horizontal intercept. That means if we're given a graph, where does it cross the horizontal axis? So here's our horizontal axis. Normally we would call that the x-axis, but if we're not using x and y variables, horizontal intercept is a generic term instead of saying x-axis. So if we're given a line like this to find the horizontal intercept, we would just look right here. And that ordered pair is at 2, 0. So for a point to be on the horizontal axis, we need a 0. And since the first number is the x value and the second number is the y value, when we find a horizontal intercept, the y value is always 0. So if we're going to find the horizontal intercept in this problem, we see that we need to plug in a 0 for the y, and then we can solve it algebraically. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute for the y, 0. So now we're going to do order of operations. We're going to go ahead and multiply first. So -4 times 0 is 0. And then 0 minus 20. And then our last step, when our variable we are solving for is isolated, that is when we divide by the coefficient of the x, which is 5, and we get x equals -4. So when we plugged in a y of 0, and remember our ordered pair, x comes first and then y. So when we plugged in 0 for y, we got an x value here of -4. So that is where the graph crosses the horizontal axis. So that would mean it would cross right here. This time we're asked to find the vertical intercept, so that just means where is it going to cross this axis right here. So in this example I made up right here, it would cross at 0, 4. So the vertical intercept is when the x value is 0. So algebraically we need to plug in a 0 for x. So we're going to take out the x and substitute 0. Order of operations, we're going to multiply first here. So 5 times 0 is 0. And we can't combine these because we don't have like terms. And so we're trying to solve for y, but the y term is not isolated, so we're going to go ahead and add 20 to both sides. And now that the y term is isolated, we're going to go ahead and divide by the coefficient, -4. And we would get a y value of -5. So in an ordered pair, x goes first, y goes second. So when we plugged in 0 for x, so that's why we put the 0 first, we got a y value of -5.